Hello and welcome back to The Right Hand. I am Greg Copeland. We are Reuben Allen. We are law firm consultants, small law firm consultants in particular. We cater to mainly, but not exclusively, to minority and women-owned law firms, small law firms. And I guess I wanted to take today to kind of uh, touch upon why law firms fail. Small businesses, law firms uh, are started every day. Small businesses, law firms fail every day. And I just wanted to quickly touch upon, just in my experience, um, being in this arena, some things that I've noticed on why law firms fail. We've also written a blog about this as well. So you can check that out. That's the Right Hand blog. Um, you know, it, running a business is hard. It's hard to start a business. It's very stressful. It's one of the most important things you'll ever do in your life. Marriage, starting a business, buying a house, all those things. And so, a lot of times, we need to know what we're getting into as law firm owners. And so I just wanted to touch upon some key points just in speaking with law firms owners of the past, some who have succeeded, some who may have failed, some who may have failed the first time, some who may have misstepped and recovered, and just kind of put all that together of trends and what I've noticed in this. The number one reason is financial mismanagement. And basically that's just, you know, you have to maintain a realistic budget. You need to just make sure you have a clear breakdown of revenue versus expenses. You have to monitor the cash flow. Just make sure it's coming in. You know, More is coming in than going out. Ensure you have enough to cover the basic expenses for time. Some people like to have enough to cover 6 months worth of expenses. Some people like to have enough to cover 3 months worth of expenses. Some people like to have a year worth of expenses covered and in the bank stored away. Um, Three, you also need to diversify those revenue sources. Balancing between contingency and hourly. If you're a criminal defense attorney, well, there's always going to be crime. Maybe you want to add some family law, or you may want to add housing, or you may want to add probate estate, just kind of diversify so it's just not all coming from one source. Or if you decide that, hey, criminal law is not for me, you're not starting all over from scratch. Also, just try to keep the overhead manageable. More and more, we're a remote society, so there's a lot of ways to keep overhead down. I know attorneys who work out of their basement, out of their garage, office from the house, Regis style office. You don't have to go in and rent this extravagant office space for the most part. If you're just starting out, if you're a small firm, just try to eliminate that overhead. Avoid, the unnecessary office space, excessive staff, or technology and subscriptions. I want to touch upon that staff part. That, yeah, you're going to need help eventually. Just make sure that you find that help at the right time, that you're not paying for help and you actually find out that you don't need that help at the time. So then you're paying for somebody to, maybe you're paying full-time employee to work a quarter of a day, half a day, three-fourths of a day. Um, and that's kind of the financial management part of it. Another part of it is why law firm owners fail. It's poor leadership and decision making. Um, Firms collapse due to leadership struggles, internal fighting, maybe not setting clear goals and expectations for each other or their team members. Definitely when attorneys are partnering up. Maybe they're coming from their own firms and merging together. You want to lay out clear-cut goals, mission, and values of the firm, and just make sure you're all, pulling in the right direction. Create a strategic plan, short-term goals, long-term goals, and this is things that I've always talked about. This isn't new. Previous blogs, previous podcasts, we've talked about short-term, long-term goals. Invest in leadership training and management skills. Um, People want to, leaders aren't born, they are made. It's true. A lot of times we may think we're leading the right way, but there's nuances into leading a team and just knowing when to tap into your team members and get the best out of them and just refine those things. Um, Leadership is trial and error as well. You may have an attorney on your team, things may go sour. You learn from that. The next attorney comes, you're a better leader, a better manager. Just and be adaptable. Things change, technology changes, the legal industry changes, and just be adaptable. Far too many attorneys that I know who are in small firms, a lot of them are stuck in the 90s. They haven't changed since they graduated from law school, or they haven't changed since they worked at a large firm. They're stuck in 90s, 2000, 2010, even 2020. Since 2019, the legal landscape, a lot of things have changed. COVID changed a lot of things, and we just have to adapt to what those situations are. I think a third part of this failure that comes a lot of times that I see, it's the lack of business development and marketing. And business development is something that doesn't come natural for everybody. Um, it's not fun for everybody. Um, some people, hey, I just want to be an attorney. I just want to practice. But that business has to come from somewhere. Um, so you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to develop a consistent marketing strategy, whether it's you going out and getting a business or you hiring someone to go out and speak for you. You know, that includes networking, referrals, SEO content on your website, marketing, social media. You just have to find ways to consistently stay in the eye, um, to catch the eye of those who are you trying to reach out and service. And marketing is very, very, very important. Um, Along with that, you have to develop a client retention strategy, touch points, find ways to ensure repeat business or referrals, customer client surveys, things such as that. Just how can I be better? How do you think of our service? What do you think of our law firm? Just so you're always touching upon that. Just don't rely on a few clients as well. Try to diversify that client base. Um, there are law firm owners who come from larger firms and set up shop, and maybe they have one large client and that's it, or maybe two large clients and that's it. But what happens if that company goes under or decides to go elsewhere? Your firm collapses. So you have to, yeah, you can use that one client or two clients as the base to start the firm. But what you want to do is just, you know, build upon that before it's too late. And with that, the business development and marketing, yeah, KPIs, key performance indicators. You know, intake forms, conversion rates, client acquisition costs, the average value per case. All of that needs to be kept track of just so you know where it works, where it doesn't, where to focus, where not to, where the money is, and where it may not be. Um, and one of the other points, number four, I would say, is and this happens, and I know technology moves a lot. It changes from day to day, but a lot of law firms, attorneys, they just fail to adapt to technology, and just refuse to modernize the practice, and this leads to inefficiency, high costs, loss of competitive edge, and I encourage people use the cloud-based management systems, streamline your workflows, implement automated billing, invoicing, keep everything on track, automatic reminders to you, to the client, invoice billing, you know, offer virtual consultations, this Zoom, we have Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, any and every way. A lot of these ways are free just to have virtual consultations. And it increases the accessibility for your clients who may not be able to come in person, and train your staff on cybersecurity best practices. You want to protect your client data, make sure you have passwords, two-factor authentication, all of these different things. Keep up with the times, keep up with the technology, adapt to the technology, keep your firm alive. And probably, you know, number five is very important because it's poor client service, and the reputation management, you know, negative online reviews. And that's where the client surveys come in. So you can kind of monitor and adapt and see how you're doing. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's an attorney in your firm that's giving poor service, but that review or that misnomer is going to go out there, that reputation is going to go out there because it is your firm. Set realistic expectations with your clients. Maintain regular communication. Biweekly case status. Even if nothing's happened, they just feel like, hey, they're thinking about me. They're keeping me updated. You know, I'm glad to hear from my attorney. Encourage your satisfied clients to leave positive reviews, and don't be afraid to ask for positive reviews. And just make sure you address any negative feedback professionally. Um, Implement, client feedback system, like I said, surveys, whatever it may be um, to improve your service. Where can I do better? How can I help you better? How would I be able to help you better the next time? And build a strong brand reputation, community engagement, um, strong ethical practice, build that reputation, and it'll get around and people will come to you. And probably one of the most important, and probably lastly, is a toxic firm culture can be the death of a firm because that leads to high turnover. Um, Office conflicts, attorney burnout. Um, it just when employees leave frequently, it derails the train every time. Client service suffers. Team morale drops, and recruiting new talent becomes difficult because if someone sees you're always running an ad for an attorney, why is this firm always looking? When I look on their site, it doesn't seem like they're growing. So what is it? What is it? There's a high turnover, and what you want to do, you have to foster a positive work environment. And I know a lot of times in high pressure situations, excuse me, it's difficult to focus on things like this, but it needs to be done. Um, Offer flexibility to help your attorneys and your team members, paralegal, legal assistants, legal secretary, to help them avoid burnout. Offer some flexibility, whether it's a hybrid role, whether it's completely remote, whether it's 4 days a week you work, team activities. Just help them avoid you know that burnout. Give them time. People have to go to the doctor. People have to take the kids to the doctor, the dentist. Um, they have to go to their kids' recital. They have to go to the awards midday during school because I know I have to do those things. Where my kids have their school awards midday, whether they make honor roll or service awards at school. So you have to allow your team members to live life, that work life balance. Also, create mentorship and training programs for the more junior team members, more junior attorneys. Give them a path. Show them that you care. Hey, I care about you and your professional development. It's just not about me and this firm and making money. I care about you as a person and your development as an attorney, as a paralegal, as a legal secretary. And also make sure you address conflicts. Have the difficult conversation. I'm big on that. Talked about that a few times. Have the difficult conversation and address conflicts, proactively, develop strong procedures and policies, HR procedures and policies, so everybody has a clear understanding on where they are and where they should be at that time. Um, and let me just add a little tidbit for another reason why firms die. And this is what I would say after the fact, after the founding attorney has decided to wind down, maybe has a partner or a few associates that work for them, and they all love the firm. They love doing work and they love working together. And it's that founding partner or partners never put in place a succession or exit plan. And many firms shut down when a key partner retires. Maybe they not even just retire, could become incapacitated or just pass away. We never know. We never know. And because there was no transition in place, the firm just fell and went down. And basically, you just want to develop a succession plan outlining what happens if an attorney leaves, passes away, becomes incapacitated. You also want to cross-train staff. So, the critical knowledge is not limited to one person. Um, Also ensure that the firm has clear ownership agreements in place. That is very important. Owning a business with someone in partnership, it's a marriage in business. And so just you want to make sure the agreement is clear and just plan for an orderly transition if you're selling or merging the firm as well. Just make sure you have lockstep what would happen in those situations. And basically, those are the things that off the bat that I can think of where, law firms have failed. And those are the things you want to try to avoid, rectify, fine tune if you yourself are a law firm owner or a law firm owner. These are the things you can pass on. That's all I got for today. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you on the right hand. See you soon.